So in this video, we're going to look at Microsoft Word and some common functions that you're going to use in that program. We're going to get you guys used to looking at some of the different menus available and accustomed to formatting a document according to specific parameters. All right, so this assignment is called Formatting a Microsoft Word MLA Paper Template. You find it in Canvas under week 2. Instead of just playing around with Word and having you guys complete some tasks, what you're going to do is actually format an MLA paper template that you guys can then use for any 5-paragraph essay for MLA formatting in high school, in college, wherever you're going to need it. So this activity asks you to download the instructions located in files in the course. You can access that clicking this link right here or on that course menu on the left-hand side under Files. I've asked you to carefully follow the provided instructions. Your paper at the end should look like this right here. I've given you a sample template, so make sure that when you're turning in your assignment, it looks just like this one, except your name is at the top here. I've also included a rubric to show you how you can get full points on this assignment. Really, it's just about accurately entering the information. So if I click on this link to take me to course files, I will see my assignment instructions right here. Now you're able to view this directly in Canvas, and you can open up Word and enter it in. Your first step here is to open up Microsoft Word. If you download the document, it automatically opens Word for you when you open the document. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My second step here is to create a new blank document. If you're opening up Word, you'll see a menu that says New Blank Document. Because I'm already in Word, I have a couple options. I can select File, New Document, and you'll see here in Word, it gives you the command functions for the shortcuts. So on your keyboard, while you have Word open, if you press Control-N, it opens up a new document for you. Just a few tips and tricks. I'm going to do a split screen here to make it easier to see my instructions and my actual document. And now I'm on step number 3. Step number 3 asks me to look at a couple different menus in Word. And when I say menus, I'm talking about your options on the top here. So home, insert, layout, so forth. It goes on further. My menu's a little restricted here because I have it in split screen. If I was in full screen, I would be able to see all of these. When you have it smaller, you just need to hit those arrows and it gives you that drop-down menu. When I say options, menu options, we also have our font menu. Again, drop-down arrow brings that up. And our paragraph menu. When you're in full screen, you see all of these options, but because we have it smaller, we just choose that drop-down menu. So step 3 asks us to do a few things. From the Home tab, I'm in the Home tab right here. In the font section, I want to make sure it's Times New Roman font. I have that set as my default font. Many of you will not, so make sure that you adjust your font to Times New Roman. It should also be 12 spacing, but that is usually the default on most computers. So now it asks me to go to the paragraph section, which is right here, and select 2.0 for double line spacing. If you hover over any of the options, it gives you an explanation of the button. So if you're wondering what some of these buttons are, just put your cursor over it and leave it there for a second. It'll pop up. You'll see this says line and paragraph spacing. I click on that and I can select 2.0. My next task is to show hide paragraph. So I'm going to go back to my paragraph menu. and make sure my paragraph button is selected. Mine was already selected. It is my default function in Word. You will most likely have to click this button and you'll see that a blue paragraph pops up on your screen. And that helps us track our spacing throughout the document. Paragraphs are for new lines, arrows are for tabs. You'll see it as we start to type into the document. All right, now we need to adjust our spacing and indentions. So we're going to go ahead and click on the View tab and make sure that our ruler option is checked. I'm going to expand my screen here a little bit. Again, this is what you're looking for your ruler option. My default has it included, but if I uncheck it, your screen might look similar to this. Make sure your ruler is selected, and that gives you those line spacings just to make sure that your document is aligned, since we're doing it to a specific format. All right, now we're on number 5, entering our information. You'll see here there's some yellow asterisks. There's an extra credit option we'll go over at the end of this video. If you're going to choose to use the extra credit option, this is where you will turn on that developers tab. That will make sense once we get through the rest of this video. All right, so it says on the first line, left align, type my first initials and last name and press enter. So I'm going to go ahead and type my initials and my last name and hit enter to go on to the next line. You'll see a paragraph, a blue paragraph line mark has ended that line, and there is another paragraph on my new line, just again noting my spacing. Now I'm going to type professor's name. This one I'm not asking for a specific professor's name. I actually want you to type the words professor's name. That's why it's in quotes. Remember, this is going to be a template that you guys are going to be able to use. So save this as a template, and you're not going to change this document. You will save as to create a new document, and I'll show you how to do that. So again, we're typing professor's name and pressing enter. Now we're typing course name and number. Note my capitalization. I've kept everything the same. I'm looking for clean format here, so all of your lines should be capitalized. My last top line here is day, month, year. Press enter. You guys are going to have an opportunity to use this in my class, so you can practice entering the information that you need to enter. All right, we're creating a title now. So I'm going to type title, centered, not bold. I'm selecting my title text, and from the Home tab, click on Home there. In the paragraph section, choose Center Alignment. Notice the title says title centered, not bold, right? Those are your instructions. This is how you enter a title for MLA format. When you go to actually use this template, you'll type the title here and it should be centered and not bold. I hope that's clear. We hit enter to go to the next line. And again, from the paragraph section, we're going back to left alignment. And now we're going to work on our introduction paragraph. We have a couple options for line spacing. You can move your cursor up here in your ruler, or you can press tab to do a general indentation. For your MLA paper, tab is perfect, so we are going to press that to indent. Now we're going to give ourselves some instructions for what should be included in our introduction paragraph, and I have them included here. Again, I'm asking you to type indent introduction paragraph. The introduction should introduce the context of your paper and end with your thesis. That's just a good rule of thumb for MLA papers. Now we're going to hit enter and move on to our body paragraphs. You'll see that first instruction says that your next line should automatically indent. Many of yours will. It'll look like this when you hit enter. Mine did not. So I am going to have to press tab again to make sure that first line of my new paragraph is indented. Here I'm going to type out my body paragraph instructions. Indent body paragraph, double space, no line between paragraphs, right? I'm not hitting enter. I shouldn't see this paragraph line saying there's a new line. It should go from this paragraph mark into our new line. The body paragraphs should support each point in your introduction and prove your thesis. A good rule of thumb is if you have a 5-paragraph essay, you have 3 body paragraphs. Your introduction should introduce 3 main points that then become your body paragraphs. And again, we're going to practice doing that later in the semester. You need 3 of these body paragraphs. So you can retype it, or you can practice hitting copy and paste using your cursor, or you can practice your keyboard shortcuts. Again, they're given on the side here. So for copy is Control C, paste is Control V. So just Control C here. I go to a new line, I press Control V, new line, press Control V. Make sure that I go back and I add my indentions if they are not included. Now I'm on to the conclusion. So here I've noted the conclusion needs to be aligned on the left side. There's no indentation, and you should capitalize it. So enter caps lock, it's the fastest way to get that in. Then we're going to hit enter and tab to indent our first sentence of the conclusion. And we need to type our instructions out. So indent conclusion. The conclusion wraps up your paper and should discuss how your paragraphs proved the statement made in your introduction and thesis, right? The intro introduces your main points, your body paragraphs expand on those points, and your conclusion says how your body paragraphs proved your opinion in the thesis. So after the conclusion, we're going to practice inserting a page break. So what a page break does is no matter how much you type above the page break, whatever you type following the page break stays on its own page. So when I hit Control Shift Enter and insert our break here, I can adjust my body paragraphs. I can type into this, I can make it a lot longer, and no matter what, my works cited page will stay on the last page of the document in its own page. All right, so now moving to the works cited page, I enter my title. I'm going to practice again, selecting my title text. From the paragraph menu, choosing center alignment. Going to the next line and bringing my alignment back to the left. From here, I'm going to enter my citation for MLA online sources. We're going to go over how to figure out what MLA citation to use according to what source later in the course. For right now, we're going to use the online source citation. And again, you need to type in author, period, quotation marks, title. All of your punctuation, all of your capitalization should look exactly like this. If you want to copy and paste from the template instructions, that's perfect. However you would like to do it, this is how it needs to be included. So because in my class I'm going to be requiring 3 citations, we're going to again copy our citation instructions and paste it 2 more times. And now we're ready to save the template. So I'm going to get out of split screen for this and show you up here on the file menu. save. I'm asking you to save your paper as your last name _ MLA paper template. You can save it in any location that you would like. The file format needs to be a Word template. So I'm looking for .docx. That's our Word template file format. And then you select save. All right, now that you have that template saved onto your computer, I suggest that you protect the document. That's done from the Developers tab. We can talk about that later in the semester. But either way, when you go to reuse this document, you simply do save as, and you can save it as any paper that you would like, and it would create a new document for you. So let's say you have an English class and you have an argumentative essay that you have to complete. You would save this template under a new title, and you still have the original paper template here. All right, now really quickly, let's look at this extra credit option. So I will include a link to show you how to download the Developers tab for Word. You'll see it here on the top of my screen, Developer. It doesn't come as a default function, but it's pretty easy to add on. So look for that QR code and I'll show you the instructions. If you choose to complete the extra credit option, it's 25% extra credit. It actually allows you to have a template that's easier to use because it gives you fillable fields. Right now, when I made these edits, you see I had to go in and highlight each one, delete the information that I don't need in order to fill in my form. If I have a fillable field, all I have to do is click on it, everything is automatically deleted, and I enter my new information. So to show you what that looks like and what these steps tell you to do, you go back up here where the asterisks are. Everywhere that you're supposed to enter your information, instead of entering it directly into the document, we're going to enter it into a text box through the Developers tab. So right here, we're looking for professor's name. So from the Developers tab, we're going to insert a text box and double click on the blue dots. We're going to enter our text just like we would in the document. Professor's name, same thing. Make sure fill in enabled is selected and click OK. And that way here, instead of having to highlight and retype, I just click and I can enter my information seamlessly. So again, when you're using the Developers tab, right from the start, instead of entering it in, each time you're doing text box, double click on dots, entering the default text. Fill in enabled should still be checked, and enter. And I will see your template with these fillable fields, 5 points extra credit, 25%. All right, if you guys have any questions, we're going to be working on this in class together. So ask me your questions in class. And then as always, you can follow up over email. I hope you guys learned something you think you'll use in the future.